Hey there, Macs and Macettes. Tonight, on the first official episode of Macvision TV, we got 5 TikToks that will blow your mind. We got a roundtable discussion on gun control, and I single-handedly solved the 40-year-old case of the Yuba County 5. Along with that, we got music, and a couple of jokes and surprises along the way. Get ready to experience Macvision TV. Biatch. Welcome to the first official episode of Macvision TV. I am Little Big Mac, and unfortunately, due to a severe misunderstanding, my therapist has confiscated all of my ties. You try looking this woman in the eyes and telling her that you were practicing self-erotica and not trying to take your own life. I mean, she would automatically assume that I was thinking about her, and she would be right. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, before we move along, I do have one piece of unfortunate news, and that is the sweet, sweet old woman who braids my hair. Miss Cheryl was raided last night, and she cannot afford to bond herself out. So if you care about the elderly at all, please comment "Free Miss Cheryl" below, and I will give you details on how we can help this wonderful, wonderful woman gain her freedom.
Yo, what up? This is David's conscience. He keeps me in the freezer because he don't like me, man. But look, don't comment "Free Miss Cheryl." Comment "Fuck Miss Cheryl." That lady, she got 67 felonies, man. Last night, she got caught with 4 ounces of smack, 3 pistols, and an AK. Plus, does his hair really look like it's professionally braided? Come on, man. That's a scam. Anyway, on with the next segment. 5 TikToks that will blow your mind. I'm out.
Extraterrestrial that understands technology, any extraterrestrial that understands technology and has technology that we don't would be perceived as a being of great power. Anybody with extrasensorial abilities beyond our comprehension would be perceived as a being of great power.
True.
Anybody with knowledge beyond our comprehension or beyond what we ourselves can achieve would be perceived as a being of great power.
Probably.
And that is where we get into these pantheons. So all of these pantheons, whichever one we choose to take, like I said, the Nordic, the Hindu, the Slavic, doesn't really matter, any and all of these pantheons.
Okay.
Were comprised of beings of great power.
Gods.
More often than not, they were extraterrestrial beings.
Really?
From other planets, sometimes
How
other
does she know
dimensions
that?
that were able to project themselves forth into our time-space reality. They were not source consciousness. They were not the great grand creator of existence that is source. They were simply, from our perspective, so evolved that we couldn't comprehend them in any other way. They were so far away from us that we as humanity couldn't comprehend them any other way than to assign this moniker of a being of great power to them.
Now look, I have no idea what a pantheon is. I prefer panties off. But lady, you sound crazy. Everybody knows that a guy that looks just like me invented everything in existence with his thoughts. People like you started worshiping golden cows and accusing him of being an alien. So he had to flood us all with his tears. And people still wouldn't listen. So he sent his only begotten son, who also looks just like me, to tell everybody that all they had to do was worship him without a doubt, devote their lives to him, and if people didn't worship him, we got those tears as a backup. So lady, you need to knock it off, because I, for one, am trying to live for a few more years. I know the world's going to end pretty soon with the nuclear blast or whatever AI is going to take over. But look, I want to see it. I don't want to drown in a river of salty tears, all right? So just get your shit together and worship my God before we send the Crusades back out, all right? On to the next one. Bye, guys.
lines. I'm going to break down to you what really happens to you in the afterlife, okay? First of all, erase this concept of heaven and hell. That was completely fabricated by man. They tried to make heaven in all religions as appealing as possible so people will follow their laws and their rules, and then they'll get this reward. They also, on the flip side, tried to make hell as bad as possible, where if you don't follow their rules, this is where you go. You're going to burn in a lake of fire for eternity. Bro, when you die, you're in an astral form. You don't have a physical shell. You don't have nerve endings. You don't feel pain. A lake of fire would do absolutely nothing to you. What I'm about to tell you will be all the reason you will ever need to always do the right thing and be a good person. Because trust me, there truly are consequences to being a bad person. As soon as you flatline, you automatically flip to another dimension. It's a duplicate dimension to this one. The only difference with your dimension is it's full of fucking dead people, bad people, elementals, demons, you name it. It's a really fucking bad place. Now, depending on the vibrations that you put out when you were alive, were they positive, light, or were they negative, dark, will dictate exactly where you go once you pass over. If you were a good person and you put out good vibrations in your life, you will see a tunnel of light. That tunnel of light is how the fuck you get out of that dimension. This is why good people get stuck in that dimension. It's because of man-made religion. They're so brainwashed that they feel like if they go through that tunnel of light, they're going to be judged. And they're afraid that they weren't good enough when they were alive, and they're going to go straight to hell to the devil and burn in a lake of fire. And they are stuck in that dimension with all kind of dark, evil entities just because of fear. Where if they went through that light, they're not going to heaven, but I can tell you exactly what would happen. They'd come right back here. Because let me tell you something, people. Reincarnation is real. On the flip side, if you are alive and you put out a bunch of dark, negative energy, you're going to have a slightly different experience when you pass over. When you pass over into that dimension, there ain't going to be no tunnel of light because there ain't no exit for you. That's your new home for eternity. You could call that hell. Now, that version of hell is way worse than anything any man-made religion could describe it as. There are entities that have been in that dimension for a long time. And the longer that you're there, the more negative energy you collect, the more powerful you become. So when your ass dies, you're a little newbie and you get in the afterlife thinking you're a Billy Badass. There are so many dark entities that will take a hold of your soul, and you may not be able to feel physical pain, but let me tell you something, you still feel emotional and mental pain, and they will torture you every single day for eternity. So your ass better act right.
Hey everybody, heaven and hell aren't real. Get that out of your mind. What's really going on is good people, they go to a place that they like. I don't know if it's either another dimension with all your friends and family, or if you come back here on Earth. I haven't decided that part yet. But hell, oh, it's not brimstone and hellfire. It's a place with a bunch of demons who mentally abuse you for all of eternity. Stupid son of a bitch. All you did is exactly what the other religions already did and just put your own fucking details in the afterlife.
Oklahoma woman is in jail after she managed to slip out of her handcuffs in the back of a police car, obtain an AR-15, and open fire on sheriff's deputies, according to local police.
All right.
The shocking moments were captured on the car's internal camera and police body cams. On Friday, Grady County Sheriff's deputies performed a welfare check on a woman found crawling around someone's yard while barking, according to the charging documents filed in court. The woman identified herself as 36-year-old Rachel Zion Clay. Police handcuffed her and placed her in protective custody in the back of a police car, according to the court documents. But while deputies were outside the car taking statements from civilians nearby, Clay managed to slip out of her cuffs and access a console in the front seat labeled gun, the undersheriff said in an interview. They say she was then able to load a round into the chamber and fire outside the vehicle.
She's a
Body camera
beast.
footage released by police show moments shots rang out.
God damn.
Confusion as deputies try to figure out what just happened.
I'm hit right here.
One civilian receiving a wound to the chest. He's later taken to the hospital, according to NBC affiliate KFOR, while the sheriff's deputy is only grazed by the bullet. As the deputies and the wounded bystander take cover and call for backup, more shots ring out.
I thought they said she loaded one round.
Law
I don't know a lot
enforcement
about guns.
expert
Maybe a
Cheryl
round
Dorsey
has
weighing in
multiple
on the
bullets.
incident.
Sometimes women are smaller frame and they have the ability to slip their hands through the cuff, even though the cuff may itself be locked.
Yo, Did she just say that women can get out of handcuffs and then, I guess, escape cop cars as well? This has nothing to do with what we just saw. I've always felt like a woman trapped in a man's body, and it's finally time for me to complete my transition.
They say to me, "Hey, little Big Mac, you use way too many after shower items for a guy." And I say to them, "It's called grooming, bitches."
Wait, hold on. That's not what I meant. I heard enough. Put him on a list. Ladies and gentlemen, we here at Macvision TV present to you the world premiere of Snap, featuring Lil Big Mac, King David, and Crazy D. You ready? Every day's a struggle, about to fucking bubble. Every waterfall I chase just turned out to be a puddle. Huddled up, I got no team, I'm just living a dream. And when I open up my eyes, life ain't what it seems. Scheme plotting, things are rotten, mind your fucking business. When I get to snapping, I won't leave a single witness. Hitting passions, but when I don't have it, every single soul I see, I plot out to attack it. Savagely graphic, crackbacks in a basket. Me cara es una máscara and a tragedy. Because my soul's the last thing you're gonna see when you step into my reality. Sometimes I feel like I'm about to snap demons that make me wanna make you take a nap. People packing pistols up in poverty positions. Peep the shit that I be spitting while you jumping in the pit. It's the shit that I be written, all the shit that's copacetic. Hold your breath cause I be token on the shit that chocomatic. So pathetic that it's no competitors in my vision, but I'm still flat broke without a pot to piss in. Life's a disaster like a Kobe Rose kick. So I cope with dope, hoping my hoe don't trip. But it's inevitable that she gonna, so I pop the vein and pour it in like a funnel on the bag. When I ain't eating, but if you could take a seat, then I can start off with your feet. And I'm a cream on the weekend, I be setting up a scope to pop a couple from afar and take away the hope that they say. No matter the place, I got people running like they entered a race. Mentality's hard because I'm mentally scarred, and I've been smoking so long that I'm mentally charged. Sometimes I feel like I'm on a snap. I wanna make you take a nap. People packing pistols up in poverty positions. Keep the shit that I be spitting while you jumping in the pit. It's the shit that I be written, all the shit that's copacetic. Hold your breath cause I be token on the shit that's chocomatic. Pathetic that it's no competitors in my vision, but I'm still flat broke without a pot of pissing. My goal is optimism, but it's stays under my reach, so I find some positive people and I begin to reach. I'm seeking energy because I'm feeling for your vibe. So if you come at me crooked, then neither of us survive. Neither of us will thrive if we don't do this shit together. But they got us separated and they ain't even that clever. I'ma better my endeavor, I'ma sever the ties and stop letting them control me with their devilish lies. I'm the devil in disguise, the devil that's blessed. How you gonna call me evil when you peddling flesh, peddling death? Profit off hate, you the ones that wanna murder. Yo, wouldn't that be great? But sometimes I feel like I'm about to snap. That make me wanna make you take a nap. People packing pistols up in poverty positions. Keep the shit that I be spitting while you jumping in the pit. It's the shit that I be written, all the shit that's copacetic. Hold your breath cause I be token on the shit that's chocomatic. So pathetic that it's no competitors in my vision, but I'm still flat broke without a pot to piss in. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. World premiere of Snap by Lil Big Mac. Crazy D and King David. Yeah, we know we're all the same person. Am I King David or Crazy D? You're Crazy D, I think. Hola, boys and girls. You might have noticed that this episode is late. I cut the TikTok segment short. I had 2 more, but I want to get the show released. You might have noticed we've moved. We're in the temporarily official Macvision studios. I say temporarily official because the official opens on the 1st, but we needed a temporary space. I didn't know it was going to happen this soon, or I wouldn't have promised this episode to be out last Monday. But hey, it's here now. You're having a good time. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is time for the Macvision TV roundtable debate on gun control. Why don't we start this off by just going around the room and everyone saying why this issue is important to them.
This is a semi-automatic handgun.
Okay, sure is. What's your point?
Quick as I depress the trigger of this Glock 19, a round comes out of the chamber.
Also true. So gun control is important for you because...
The functionality.
I don't think you understood the assignment. Next.
He has not put that forth where bump stocks have been banned.
What? Excuse me?
He has not put that forth where bump stocks have been banned.
I think you might be having a stroke. Let's move on.
People keep on pushing laws that have nothing to do with stopping these attacks. The number one rule that they keep on trying to
And AR-15, keep AR-15s out of the hands of these men.
Whoa. Honestly, are you okay, man?
I did not disturb you, John.
My name isn't John, and you kinda did.
Let me finish.
That's what she said.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Jeez, man, it was just a joke.
Oh, God, you are such a hypocrite.
Why? Seriously, are you okay? This is supposed to be about guns.
I have shot hunting rifles.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere, so you're pro-gun.
In reference to an AR-15 and a hunting rifle, those are totally different weapons.
What?
I'm sorry, are you just stating facts about guns? Do you even have a stance?
When an AR-15 is a weapon to kill multiple people in a short amount of time.
So you're anti-gun.
John just said a very untrue statement.
Like I said, my name isn't John. Why don't you just tell us your stance on gun control?
He has not put that forth where bump stocks have been banned.
What?
I'm really worried about you.
You're lying to these viewers.
Can we get him an ambulance? Okay, obviously treating you guys like adults and giving you free reign doesn't work. So why don't we just have an expert explain to us what an AR-15 is?
Are you ready? What does AR stand for in AR-15?
Armalite rifle.
What?
Here's a summary from National Shooting Sports Foundation. The R in R-15 rifle stands for Armalite rifle. R does not stand for assault rifle or automatic rifle. R-15 style rifles are not assault weapons or assault rifles.
Okay, thank you. But why are you shaking?
It is a sickness!
I'm sorry to hear that. But seriously, why would somebody need an AR-15?
Ballless! Totally ballless!
That's terrible.
What happened to these? What happened to these?
I'm guessing steroids.
Like I'd like to continuously punch you in the jaw because you're so stupid!
Yep, steroids. So how does an AR-15 work?
One pull of the trigger. You hold the trigger down, the gun continues to continuously fire! 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 Boom!
Hey, whoa. Come back to us. I think you're starting to daydream a little.
You libtards!
Geez, no need to be mean.
This is America, Jack!
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm gonna have a massive heart attack, but not before I punch a liberal in the stomach.
Whoa. We like to keep the show as violence and death-free as possible.
What is wrong with you idiots?
We just don't like to watch people die. I didn't know that was such a controversial stance. Maybe you're like me, and guns don't even have an impact on your everyday life. You don't own one, you don't use them, but you're thinking to yourself, these guns seem pretty cool. How can I jump on the gun train? I don't have any enemies that I need exterminated, so what can I use one for? Well, we got you covered. They can be useful when making sure nobody's behind you at the ATM trying to see your PIN number. When testing the durability of your new baseball cap. And of course, curing constipation. Testing the strength of your brand new hair gel. And if it didn't cure your constipation the first time, it'll scare the shit out of you the second. Everyone knows that guns make you look really cool.
With it, sending shots at your bitty. Swag, bitch.
Swag, bitch. They can even be a zen-like reminder to live in the moment.
I just fucking shot myself.
Also, you know how you can't break up with your friends? And they make you look really sexy.
Like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. said sexy, not smart. Even simply opening water bottles becomes easier. Or they can just be a straight up antidepressant.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. We are at Vorsa, and we're going to do some death metal for you right now. I mean, some people would say that it's not death metal, whatever. You know, the subgenre thing is obnoxious as fuck. It's metal. It's metal, it's music. Enjoy.
Question for the ladies and the gay gentlemen. Is it as terrible sucking a dick in the summertime as I think it would be? Like, it's hot outside, your mouth's hot, the dick's hot, everything's hot. And when you're finished, you got a mouth full of sweat, saliva, and semen. I didn't want to say it, but rule of 3 for comedy, I had to. It wasn't my fault. You know what I'm talking about, like outside, like you're at the beach. No one's around. You want to give your man a little something, something. I feel like your mouth would just have to be a somehow wet in a bad way version of a desert with just the worst taste I can possibly think of. So basically what I'm saying is, shout out to all you ladies who suck dick in the summertime. You're the real MVPs.
Look at this picture. Really look at it. What do you see? 5 well-adjusted, successful young men? Or do you see 5 people who all struggle with mental illness? Do one or more of them look, as my grandpa would say, a little off? What about amongst the group themselves? Do any of them look out of place? Like they don't belong in the group? Just look at it. Trust your instincts. Only you know what you see.
This is the Yuba County 5. AKA the boys, AKA the YC Finns. I made that last one up. Hee hee. Each of them had intellectual disabilities or psychiatric conditions.
On the evening of February 24, 1978, after attending a basketball game at Chico State, Bill Sterling, Jack Hewitt, Ted Wahier, Jack Madigan, and Gary Mathias mysteriously vanished.
A few days later, the group's Mercury Montego was found, abandoned in a remote area of Plumas National Forest on a high mountain road. The car was nowhere near where the 5 lived, nor was it anywhere near Chico State where they had watched the basketball game. The car was in good working condition, and while it was resting in a snow pack when police hotwired it, the car moved with no problem. There was no trace of the YC Finns at all. Facts.
For long months later, some, let's call them motorcycle enthusiasts, happened upon a camper in the woods from which emanated an odor so horrific it would have made Freddy Krueger cry for his mama. Inside the camper was the decaying carcass of Ted Wahier. This reignited the search, which had been called off about a month after the car was located.
The trailer where Ted was found was located 20 miles north of the Montego, through heavily wooded area. The bodies of Jax and Bill. That is, the 2 guys named Jack and the one named Bill. Anyway, the bodies of Jax and Bill were found on the trail to the cabin. Each of them. Nothing but bones. I swear I did not mean for it to sound like Jack and Jill. This is no place for childish puns.
Madigan and Sterling were found 11.4 miles away from the car. The bodies pretty much destroyed due to harsh conditions and animals cheating on their diets, but investigators were still able to determine they died of hypothermia.
The accepted theory is that one gave into the desire to sleep that comes with late-stage hypothermia, and the other, being his best friend, refused to leave his side until the cold and bitter end.
2 days later, Jack Hewitt's own father found his remains when he saw Jack's coat and picked it up, leaving him in utter shock when the jacket fell to the ground and Mr. Hewitt was left gripping the spinal column of his mentally ill son.
Did I have to say that in such a sad and gruesome way? No. But it is a sad and gruesome story, and I refuse to take the emotion out of a story and stick to medical and legal jargon for fear of offending someone. I hope you're offended. It's a story about 5 handicapped people mysteriously dying in the woods. Did I say 5? We only found 4 bodies. That's right, the body of Gary Mathias. The one who looks like he doesn't belong in the group? Yeah. To this day he has never been found.
Pretty crazy, right? Just wait. Remember Ted? The guy found in the trailer well, not only was his body still in good condition, minus the weight loss and the gangrene-riddled foot, but he was wrapped in several blankets, including around his head, which means he was obviously wrapped up after he died. So who wrapped him up? And where is Gary?
Ted died of a combination of starvation and hypothermia. He was 200 pounds on the day of the basketball game, but his withered corpse was a mere 90 pounds. All of his belongings, including his wallet with cash, were on the table next to the bed he was laying on.
It was baffling that Ted died how he did because both were easily preventable. There was plenty of material for a fire, but one was never started. There was enough food to feed 5 men for a year, but only 12 ration cans were opened. Also, in the same area as the ration cans was a valve which, if turned, would have provided the camper with much-needed heat.
Okay. This has been pretty brutal so far, so I'm going to give you some nice peaceful imagery to balance out the vibe. So not much of a mystery.
Right?
5 guys went to a camp.
Or in the woods.
On top of a mountain and died.
Well, we're not quite done.
Remember how
Gary
didn't look like he fit in? He didn't. We'll be right back with the rest of the story of the Yuba County 5.
Are you tired of the rat race? Tired of doing the same thing day in and day out? Do you feel like everything looks the same every day? Are you starting to feel like just another sunglasses wearing banana stuck on a giant tab of acid? Struck out on your own to take over the galaxy, but ended up just another itemized piece of fruit on the banana boat that is life? Well, dig yourself up out that grave, you little bitch. There is still hope for you. I know you think everything is hopeless. The evil Panama hat wearing, sunburnt farmer Dunn picked you off the banana tree. That's okay. I have a solution.
Oh, what is it, big guy?
Shut the fuck up and maybe I'll tell you. Notice how the words that I'm saying don't match the movement of my lips? That's because I'm high as fuck. You can be too. Just by some weed. That's right, weed. You know it. You love it. If you're watching this show, I hope to God you smoke it. Anyway, that's our sponsor this week. Weed. Back to the show.
So at this point, you're going to need a little bit of background. The original 4, Ted Weir, Jack Madruga, Bill Sterling, and Jack Hewitt, they were together for a long time. They were part of a program in their town, Yuba City, for people with special needs. They were on the basketball team. And I know we kind of hammered home that they were special needs, but there's a reason for that. One of them was quoted as having an IQ of 40. If you watch other videos on this subject, they try to pretend like their mental handicap wasn't that big of a deal. Like, they talk about them holding down jobs and all this stuff. If you dig a little deeper, you find that it's not that simple. Two of them, their parents made them quit their jobs because it was stressing them out too much, and they were throwing fits at home, like children, like throwing stuff, screaming. They couldn't handle it. And Ted Weir, his house caught on fire one time, and he refused to get out of bed because he needed to sleep for work tomorrow. So that's the mental state of these people that we're dealing with. Then in comes Gary Mathias. Now, Gary used to be in the Army and was a paranoid schizophrenic. Now, obviously, he was in the Army. He's more physically capable than these guys, more mentally capable than these guys, but he's sick. He's paranoid schizophrenic. So somehow he ends up in the same program on the same basketball team as the other four. This happened a year before the tragic incident.
The boys played basketball for the Yuba City Gators. The day after they vanished, they were scheduled to play in the finals of a tournament in which the winners would get a spot at the Special Olympics. By all accounts, they were so excited about it that they laid out their uniforms the night before. To celebrate this opportunity, they decided to go watch their favorite team play at Chico State.
So, as you can see from this map, they started off down here at the bottom circle, drove all the way up here about 70 miles to Chico State, which is the top left circle, and somehow ended up all the way over here, 50 miles away from that, at the top right circle. And nobody knows why they went there. Jesus, I got no room in here. Y'all really gonna cramp me in this much to show this picture of not Joseph Shones? Anyway, so the first person to come forward was a man classified as the town drunk named Joseph Shones. He claimed he was on this basically abandoned area of mountainous road to check out a cabin for him and his family. But the problem with his story is that he was literally there all day, sitting in his car. He claimed to have had a heart attack, and during the heart attack, defecated on the ground next to his car. And just so you know, the park ranger who originally found the Yuba County 5's car confirmed that there was feces on the ground. Human feces. According to Joseph, he was woken up at some time in the middle of the night. Now, don't ask me why he was sleeping out there in the middle of the night if he was just checking out a cabin for his family. Oh yeah, heart attack. I forgot. Joseph claims that when he woke up, he saw behind him a group of people, a car, and a red pickup truck. And in the group of people was apparently the boys, the Yuba County 5, plus a man and a woman holding a baby. And when he screamed for help, everybody turned their lights off and got real quiet. So Joseph figured people just didn't want to help him. He went back to sleep. Then, a little while later, he woke up again, and there was people in the woods and in the tree line shining flashlights. And when he screamed for help again, the flashlights turned off. So he was mad, and he just thought nobody wanted to help him. Now, Joseph would change his story throughout time. Like, the cops came to see him in the hospital. He said, oh, there was no woman and a baby. He can't really be trusted. But I like to go with the original story, and later he thought better of it. That seems to make the most sense. So I believe he saw what he saw and then thought better about talking to the cops. And you'll find out why in a little bit.
The other witness was a woman working at a gas station in a town near where the car was found. She claimed to have seen the boys in the gas station when she was starting her shift. She said 2 were in the car and 2 were in a phone booth making a call. So once again only 4 people. And she claimed that she saw them 2 days after they had vanished. In a red pickup truck.
One final witness never claimed to have seen the boys on the fateful day but saw Jack, with an unknown man driving a rusty red pickup truck around the same area where the boys expired an entire year before the incident. When asked what they were doing in the area, Jack responded that they were hunting. Jack did not hunt.
When I found out about this case, I searched it on YouTube and watched tons of videos about it, trying to find an acceptable solution. And there's a lot of videos out there. There's 2-hour podcasts on just this subject alone. Nobody, to me, had an acceptable solution. Everybody picks and chooses what evidence they want. And I have to say, and I'm not just saying this because he's one of my favorite YouTubers, but Wendigoon probably has the most details, the most accurate timeline of events. So I suggest you watch his video if you're interested in this case. But out of all the cases I watched, nobody could come up with what was, to me, an acceptable theory on what happened. Another thing is that it was found, due to the growth of his beard, that Ted Weir was alive for 13 weeks in that camper. And Gary likes meth. The other 4 are not the sharpest mentally. Remember, an IQ of 40. Gary's a paranoid schizophrenic criminal. Gary gets put on their basketball team. Gary starts secretly giving them meth, treating them just like children. Don't tell your parents. Don't tell anybody we're doing this. A year before they disappeared, Jack and an unknown man who I think was Gary, were in a red truck near that same location. I wonder what they were doing. You gotta wonder, what kind of a place, especially one as far away from society as this one is, would attract paranoid schizophrenic meth addicts, the town drunk, and bikers? Well, me personally, I think it was a spot where Gary would go to get his fix. See, Gary used to live not in the same town where the car was abandoned, but near it. Now, my theory is that Gary was giving these guys meth throughout the year. And he was playing in the basketball game. That was all legit, you know. But when they went to see the game in Chico State, they had their game the next day. I think Gary convinced them to make a stop. That's why they went out of their way. There's no other explanation. You think somebody really chased them all the way over there? For what? For what? Just playing around? I don't think somebody would drive. I don't even know how many miles they had to go. Almost home, which was 70 miles away to get back on the highway and go back up north. I don't think someone's going to chase somebody just for over 100 miles. I think it was Gary's hookup spot. Other evidence shows that the doors of the car were locked, but the window was down. And then there's all this debate in these other videos. Well, why would somebody's window be down? Unless he was communicating with someone. I'm sure he was. His plug showed up. So Plug comes over. He sees extra people in the car. Makes them all get out. They do their deal. They're doing their deal. Maybe they're even trying the stuff out. They hear, hey. So they get all quiet. This is making a lot of sense, right? Or am I crazy? So a guy goes back to sleep, the Joseph Shones guy. They finish doing what they're doing. Gary convinces the rest of them, there's a cabin out here that I used to hang out in. Now, Gary, at one point in his life, walked like 50 miles or something it was from his grandma's house to Yuba City to see other family and then walked back. So these long treks were nothing to Gary. And even though it was snow to their waist or whatever it was, high up on the mountains and cold, you know, Gary did this. This is the type of stuff he'd been doing his whole life. It doesn't matter. It's easy to him. So he's plowing through. He's got these guys behind him. Now, did they stop on the way to the cabin, or did they make it all the way to the cabin and hang out for a while? I think they did, because I think the woman who saw them at the gas station was telling the truth. I think they made it to that cabin. I think the four wanted to go home, but Gary wasn't having it. And then once they missed the basketball game the next day, it was just over with for him. I think somebody, probably Gary's dealer, owns a red truck. I think he picked them up 2 days after all of it went down and took them to the gas station to get food and snacks and stuff. And two of them were in the phone booth trying to make a phone call. Were they calling somebody to come pick them up? We don't know. Were they trying to get out of there? We don't know. But either way, they ended up back in the cabin. And at some point, they decided to leave. They probably split up because two were found together and one was found on a separate path. Left in the cabin was Ted and Gary. And Ted had a gangrene riddled foot, couldn't walk. So I think Gary was keeping him alive. Why didn't they start a fire? Why didn't they turn on the heat? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they eat when there was all that food there? How did he die of starvation when there was all that food? Well, because he was being taken care of by a paranoid schizophrenic meth addict who was probably doubly paranoid because of the activity he was partaking in. So he probably refused to start a fire or turn on lights or do anything like that for fear of someone seeing them. That's what people uppers do. That's what speedheads do. Looking out the window, scared all the time. They're scared all the time. Meanwhile, he's got a dying friend. He's probably paranoid about that too. Doesn't know what to do. Ted passes away. At this point, Gary takes his shoes and wanders off into the wilderness. I don't think there was any foul play. I don't think anyone murdered these people. I think it was a simple case of these four should not have been with this guy. That's the entire problem. These mentally challenged, basically kids, that's why they were called the boys, were allowed to go off with this paranoid schizophrenic because they were in the same basketball team, so everybody assumed it was okay. And I think this guy had been messing these kids up from day one. I think he'd been feeding them. You know, I'm on YouTube, so I can't say stuff like that, even though I already said it, but I'm trying to keep it at a minimum. And yeah, and then they went out to party and they met their end. Now, is Gary still alive? He's never been found, or did he wander off in the woods and get eaten by a bear? I don't know. But there is rumors out there that somebody knows who's responsible for this whole thing, but they're not going to talk until certain people are dead. Are those certain people Gary? I don't know. So that's basically it. That's my investigation into the Yuba County 5. Was the ending a little too anticlimactic for you? Tough. It was the truth. You got a different theory of what happened? You think a skinwalker came out and slaughtered everybody? You know what to do. Put it in the comments. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for the first official episode of Macvision TV. If you enjoyed it, I hope it was worth the effort that I put in. And just know now, going forward, I've learned the things that I've needed to learn. And the episodes going forward will be faster, better, bigger, more ideas. And hopefully you guys collaborate with me. What I really, really want is for you guys to send me like songs, artwork, pictures you drew, stories you wrote, anything creative that you have. Get it to me and we'll share it on this show. That's what this show is really about. I want you guys to send me all your creative shit. I want this to be shit central. What the fuck is that? You think you did something? You think because you made one episode of one show, it's gonna validate your pathetic existence? You're still gonna be the same person you always were. You're still going to be walking around this world a sad, depressed, lonely drug addict. You think a couple likes on YouTube, a couple subscribers are gonna make you feel better? You can never get rid of me, little Big Mac.